Hello all, welcome to Naresh IT Labs. In this video, we will be discussing about what are methods in Java and what are the different types of methods that are available in Java. So let me go into Eclipse, and here I'm creating a new class, and the name of the class I am naming it as methods concept. So public static void main, and then click on finish button. So first, let's see why we need a method. And before we go for why do we need a method, suppose I have this line of code. Int number 1 is equal to 100, number 2 is equal to 200, and result. So result is equal to number 1 plus number 2, where I am performing addition of numbers, and then I'm saying system.out.println result. So if we execute this program, it will add the numbers and it will display the output as 300. So what if like we need to reuse this code for multiple times? In those cases, we will go for methods concept. So let's say QA1 wants to use the same code in his system. QA2 wants to use the same code in his system. And QA3 wants to use the same code in his system. Rather than writing the same code in all the three systems, we can create it as a method and then the people can use it. So the second thing is, let's say in my system itself, I need to use this code in multiple cases. So I need to use this code in multiple classes. Like assume this is test case 1 and this is test case 2 and this is test case 3. I want to use the same code in all the three test cases. Rather than writing this code in all the three test cases, we can create it as a function and we can use it in those test cases. So method, we also call it as functions. So some people call it as a functions also. So the main purpose of using methods or functions is to reuse the same code again and again in multiple places. So that's where we go with the concept of method or functions in Java. So coming to the methods or functions, if we are seeing the type of methods in Java, there are two types of methods available in Java. One is called as inbuilt methods, and the second is user defined methods. So the difference between inbuilt methods and user defined methods are the people who created Java or the people who invented Java, they have created some methods in Java. So that means by default, if any methods are coming along with Java, that's called as inbuilt methods. So inbuilt methods are the methods created by Java developers. So who are Java developers? People who invented Java are the Java developers. User defined methods are the methods that we will create as per our need. So some of the examples of inbuilt methods are, so which we'll be learning in our further videos. There is a method called length method. So there is a method called index of method. So there is a method called trim method. There is a method called split method. All these are the inbuilt methods available in Java. So now we are going to see how to create a user-defined methods and how the syntax of user-defined methods would be. So again, under user-defined methods, there are two types of user-defined methods. So the first type of user-defined method is methods without arguments. And the second is methods with arguments. So let's see first how the method without arguments would look like, and later we are going to see method with arguments, how it will look like. So let me delete this code, and there are some rules for creating the methods. So those rules are method rules. So the first rule is method names should start with alphabets. Second rule, method names should not have any special characters except underscore. Third, methods should be created outside of main method. So here in Java, main itself is a method. So this main, if you see, this is a inbuilt method. We can use this main method in any of these classes. So this is created by Java people. We have used the same method in this example. We have used the same main method in this example. So one method which we are able to use it in multiple places. So now here, as per the first rule, method name should start with alphabets. Method names should not have any special characters except underscore. Method should be created outside of main method. So that being said, I'll start with this. Any method you create, it has to be created outside of main method. Outside of this, we need to create. That means the method should be created on the class level. You can create a method here, or you can create a method here. I'm creating a method here. So I'm creating method without arguments. So public static void. So here you will give the method name. So I'm mentioning the syntax. Open and close the bracket. Open the curly bracket and close the curly bracket. Now whatever statements you want to reuse, you will be writing it here. Like this. So with this syntax, now I will go and create a method without arguments. So here I am creating that method. Public static void addition. I want to perform addition of numbers. I am giving the method name as addition. So the first rule, method name should start with alphabets. We are starting with alphabets. Let's say if you give numbers, it doesn't allow. But you can have the method name ending with number, or you can have the method name in between number if you want. But always your method name should start with alphabets, first rule. And the second rule is method name should not have any special characters except underscore. Let's say if I am giving addition at the rate of 1, it will throw you error. syntax error on token, delete this token. It is saying that this is not allowed. But will it accept underscore? Yes, it accepts. So it accepts underscore. It will not accept any other special characters except underscore, the second rule. And the third rule, we created the method outside of main. So this is how we created a method outside of main method. So now I will write the code. Int number one is equal to 100. Number two is equal to 200. Result. Result is equal to number one plus number two. So now I am saying system.out.println result. So this is how I created a method for addition. Now I can reuse this code. I can reuse this method in multiple places. So how do I execute the code which is there inside the method? So the third, to execute code inside method, we need to call method inside main method. So if you don't call, let's say I'm not calling, if you run, it doesn't display anything because this code inside the method will execute only when you call this method. So how do you call a method? Copy this method name, complete addition with the brackets. I'm just pasting it here inside the main method with the semicolon. So now if you run the program, so once the execution starts, it will come to this line. So this method is created here. It will go inside this and it will execute this code. Run. It has displayed output as 300. So this is how the method without arguments will look like, right? So the QA1 can use the same method. Let's say if QA2 wants to use in his system, he can use it, right? Or I want to use the same method in multiple test cases, we can actually use it, right? So as of now, we are focusing on how to create a method in the same class and then how to call in the same class. Later in further videos, we would be understanding how to create a method in one class and call it to another class. So this is the one. Now, the method without arguments, how it will look like. Method without, sorry, method with arguments. So coming to the method with arguments, syntax would be public static void method name, open and close the bracket, open the curly bracket and close it. So here we need to pass the arguments, like what values you want to give to the method. Those are nothing but arguments. Let's say I want to multiply two numbers. So what values we will be passing? We will be passing int number one and we will be passing int number two, right? So this is the syntax of it. So with this, now I will create a method for multiplying two numbers here. Public static void multiplication, open and close the bracket, open the curly brackets and close it. Now I want to multiply, so the user will be providing two numbers. So those numbers will be passed as a argument, int number one, int number two. Now I am going to define one variable called int result. Result is equal to number one into number two. So system.out.println So I'm giving more meaningful output. Multiplication of two numbers is plus result. So multiplication of two numbers is plus result. So now how this method will work? Now when the user is calling this method, he is going to pass number 1 and he is going to pass number 2. So it will come here and here it is going to multiply with those numbers and then it will print the output accordingly. So that's how your method what we created would be working. So let me go here and I am calling that method. So copy this. Now in bracket, provide the numbers that you want to multiply. I want to multiply 5 with 2. So now if you go and run the program, it should display 10. So 5 into 2 is 10. Now MULT control space. So whatever method you created, the multiplication you could able to see. This is the other way how you can call the method. Copy and paste, give the values, or MULT, type the first few alphabets. This is the one, enter. Now you pass the numbers that you want to multiply. So I want to multiply 10 with 10. So if you run the program, for the first one it will display 10 and for the second one it will display 100. So this is how the method with arguments and this is how the method without arguments would look like. So later in the next video, we are going to discuss with an example how to create a method with arguments and how to create a method without arguments. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.